very cold in here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Hello!
How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little worried about you.
Why?
Well, I think because, I don't know, your energy seems a little down.
Yeah, it is a little down.
Is your energy a little down? Because you've just turned it on now, but, you know, like when the lights and camera are not rolling,
Yeah.
is there anything...
Well, I'll probably have to confess, I've got a hangover.
Wow.
It was my Bucks party on the weekend.
So we're filming this Monday.
Yeah.
When was your Bucks party?
When did it finish or when did it start?
Wow, that's quite the
No,
event.
on Friday we went away for 2 nights. Had a house down in Blairgowrie. So you know, there's a lot of bullying goes on at Bucks parties.
Really? Do tell what happened.
Yeah, a lot of peer pressure.
How many, let's just get the context, how many chaps?
Well, there was only about 10 of us. One of them, who was meant to stay for the 2 nights, got too pissed on the Friday night and pulled the pin and went home. And he was the main instigator of most of the antics that went on.
What's his name?
Fitzy, I know you're watching, and your brother too. Get into him.
Yeah, Fitzy, shit. Lift your game and don't do half a job, son.
We're doing a Q&A today.
Q&A on episode 12 for us.
Yes.
I'm ready.
You want to just
I'm ready.
jump straight into it?
I want to show you something. I want to start a little thing. Show and tell thing before we jump in.
Yeah.
I want next episode for you to bring something that means a lot to you, that's probably a bit weird, or something that you love. Not Amy. Something that's a bit left of centre. And I get asked this question all the time. I'm going to drag it out of my pocket.
All right.
So people always ask me about books all the time, pretty much every day. What books do you recommend? What books do you read? Which of your books would be the best for me? And have you all the time. So this is my favourite ever all-time book.
What is it?
So this is called Strength and How to Obtain It. This was written in 1896, Tom.
What is it, a weightlifting book?
It's a book on, it's basically your forerunner, your pioneering, groundbreaking, how to get in shape, how to build muscle, how to be strong. It was written by a guy called Eugene Sandow.
Oh, God. All right.
So this is 120 years old.
Legit. Like that's
Real. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, but you know these things, they can make things look old these days.
And this one, signed. Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, come on. So, I just want to read you a tiny bit.
Yeah, all right. All right, good.
This is the introduction.
Go.
120 years ago this was written. In writing this book, I've taken it as commonplace that everyone, man, woman and child, wants to be strong. Without strength, and by strength I mean health, vitality and a general sense of physical well-being, life is but a gloomy business. Wealth, talent, ambition, the love and affection of friends, the pleasure derived from doing good to those about one, all these things may afford some consolation for being deprived of life's blessing, but they can never make up for it. Vitality.
Can I just have this for 1 second?
Yes.
Because I think I've seen this guy before.
Yeah. Stop it.
Pretty sure they're seeing it too right now.
Stop it. How good is that?
That is amazing.
Careful with that. Careful with
legit.
that. Careful.
Oh, God, it's a bit raunchy in
No,
the book.
It's not. It's hilarious. I love the advertising. The advertising on the back. Empire Cocoa. I wonder how long ago Empire Cocoa. 1 pound makes 250 cups. The drink, Tom, for athletes.
Oh, coffee.
The drink, cocoa.
Oh, cocoa.
Cacao. Cacao. No, cocoa. All right,
Okay.
carry on.
Okay.
Questions.
Let's bash these out. A good one from Donna Cooper. Donna says, is it good to push through the pain barrier? Is the pain barrier just a state of mind we can untrain?
Well, pain is it's relevant to the individual. It's subjective. So some people would say, because we all have a different pain threshold and we all have a different relationship with pain, some people might experience what for me is not very painful and for them it's very painful. Or vice versa. It's like when people first start working out in the gym. Oh, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts.
For days and days and days.
But even when they're going through the actual workout, because they're not used to that level of discomfort physically. Yeah. So pushing through, I mean, there's good and bad pain. And so I'm definitely not prescribing anything. Is it Donna?
Donna, yeah.
Donna, other than to say, just have an awareness of what's a good pain, as in I'm pushing myself, I'm getting uncomfortable, I'm stretching myself to adapt, stronger, leaner, all those things. But what I'm not doing is I'm not hurting myself. It's not bad pain. So there needs to be a level of discomfort or pain in order for change to happen if we're trying to progress, if we're trying to create a new and improved version of us physically. But you also need to be intelligent about how you manage pain. Running when you're clearly maybe, there's injury pain and then there's just good pain as in I'm feeling this and I'm uncomfortable. But so it's trying to differentiate between that. And usually if it's a bad pain, and obviously that's what we want to avoid.
Yeah, because knowing what the difference is, because in my mind I go, I kind of know the good and bad pain, but how do I know that? Like, what do you... Because you see some stupid people in the gym lifting the heaviest possible weight and they tear their pec.
Yeah.
Of course, there was some warning signs along the way.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just in their mind. It's probably a lot of trial and error as well.
But also I think it's like if I'm stretching my hamstring because my 52-year-old hamstring is about as flexible as this table, you go, that's, but then if I say, Tommy, can you stretch my shoulder, and you're pulling back and I'm going, that's going to dislocate that's a different thing where you can feel there's an unnatural, dangerous, almost kind of stress or discomfort versus something which is just that, good. This is uncomfortable, but I know it's doing some good.
It's not part of Donna's question, but for instance, say if you were doing weight training for one of the first times, which I did recently, and it felt like I did it for the first time.
Was that when we were up in the country?
Yes. I was sore for days. So, but what about differentiating that kind of a pain? Because sometimes that can actually feel like you've injured yourself because you have torn your muscle fibres. Yeah. How do you kind of work that out? Like, have I gone too far?
Yeah. So we call that DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle soreness, just an acronym. So that often means that a day or two after your workout that you're going to feel a little bit sore. And that's kind of normal. But again, like a really easy way to know whether or not it's probably just exercise soreness is if it's equal. So if both of your biceps are kind of sore and kind of the same, it's probably fine. If one's got no pain and one's, if it really, there's acute sharp pain versus, and again, remember, I'm not a doctor, but generally you'll find that that's, okay, and it reduces over time. So generally, first workout or two or three, fair bit of pain and discomfort, depending on what you're doing, of course. But, by the time you get into number 4, 5, 6, then generally the pain response is less.
All right, let's move on. This is from Laurie. Now, Laurie says, why do I make a decision and then seemingly go out of my way to do everything possible not to achieve it?
Oh, gee, I don't know, Laurie. I don't know you. I don't know why you do that. Why do we do that more broadly I think sometimes the decision that we make, they say that all the big decisions that we make, we're not talking about incidental ones, which socks will I wear today, will I have the cheeseburger or the lasagna? But
sorry, I just made a real big decision today. These are really good socks.
Wow.
Really like snowboarding ones.
Wow.
My feet are really toasty.
How dare I suggest that that's not a big decision.
That was a decision.
All right, for everyone except Tom. They say that the decisions, the big ones that we make are in an effort to avoid pain or gain pleasure. So we're always kind of moving away from something that scares us or we perceive to be painful or towards something positive. But I guess the initial making of the decision is easy, but the subsequent behaviour over the journey is not so easy. And part of, and I don't know about for you, Laurie, but for a lot of people, the in the moment stuff is what sabotages us. So for example, somebody says, Craig, I really want to lose weight. I really, really want to lose weight. I want to lose 30 kilograms. And they're serious and they mean it. And then they go out on, the next day they go out and nobody's around. They've had a bad morning and they're presented with the opportunity to eat a whole lot of junk that's bad for them. It's unhealthy, high fat, high sugar, but it tastes amazing. So that person, quite often the internal dialogue is something like, whether or not it's conscious, something like, I can eat all of this and it's going to taste fucking amazing. It's going to give me great joy and great pleasure. And I'll start tomorrow anyway. So I'll start tomorrow, it's all okay. And the reality is, if that person eats the food, what they get is instant gratification. But if they choose not to eat the food, they don't get instant weight loss, right? And the problem with, say, for example, using the example of losing 30 kilos, it isn't a quick process. It's not an instant gratification thing. There's no short-term payback. There's no in-the-moment kind of joy because I'm addicted to sugar and fat and you know, Savoy shapes or whatever they're called. What are they called? Barbecue shapes.
Savoys, they're good.
You know, and so when I eat that, when I go there, it makes me feel good momentarily. Then I feel shit, but it gives me instant, you know, it gives me that dopamine, gives me that physiological shift, and my taste buds go crazy, and it's amazing. And then I want to punch myself up for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, but instant pleasure, the mouth pleasure. It's
gets in the way.
Yeah, far out.
Go.
Jakey. Hey Craig, how do you manage lead supervise your team? Wow. What's your philosophy? Cheers. So this is obviously in a workplace. When you had your gym, how many staff at one point did you have?
Well, over the years, I had about 400. So either contractors or employees, but all wearing the Harper's name.
So, the caftans as well, right?
Yeah. Well, that's right. Thongs, caftans, tambourines. Business cult, same. You know, I heard somebody describe the other day two kinds of leaders, and one leader is the leader that people are scared of, and they can't look them in the face, they can't look them in the eye, and that leader kind of operates out of control and manipulation and intimidation. There are more than these two, but there's another kind where people want to, and this, I'm not saying this was me, this is what I tried to be. People wanted to be around that person. People couldn't help but look at them. They wanted to be like them. They wanted to follow them, and they wanted to be associated with them. So my preferred model of leadership is to have great relationships, positive relationships with people. Did I always manage that? Of course I didn't always manage it. I did my best. And the thing too with me was when I started in a leadership role was when I was 22 and I was managing gyms at a very young age. So I couldn't even lead myself, let alone a team. But, you know, John C. Maxwell wrote a book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And in that he talks, I think that's the name, in that he talks about that the great leader is the leader that gets people to buy into his vision, his or her vision. And to surround themselves with like-minded people. That's if they want to buy into that. You know, so it's like, this is where we're going in this organisation. I'm the leader. This is what I want to do. These are the reasons why. Are you guys on board? If you are, that's great. If you're not, that's okay too. But, you know, so just identifying that and being, I think in general terms, somebody who leads by doing. So if I'm not walking the talk, if I'm not authentic in terms of what people see versus what people hear, if there's a disconnect between that, then no matter how qualified I am or what I'm saying, people won't respect me because clearly I'm not doing what I'm telling them to do.
And it's so not textbook. I was working at a workplace once, and all the sales desks. Yeah. All of a sudden there was like glasses of water at all different levels and all different colours on different desks. Right. And I was like, what the hell's this? Right. The boss had gone around, and you basically get shamed if you haven't made your sales because you can see where people's water's up to. And that's like something you'd totally bring out of a book and go, I know how to run a sales team. Yeah. Like,
that's a lack of emotional intelligence, and that boss is a fuckwit.
Yes! Yeah, I would have said no.
Tell him or her, because all that boss is, seriously, that boss is, if you think that you'll inspire or lead or optimize people by denigrating them or insulting them or trying to manipulate them negatively in an emotional sense, you don't understand how people or teams work. And you're not a nice person. You're a fucking idiot.
All right. Tracy, this is a good one. What's the skinny on how much water we need? So what's the skinny?
So this is I can't give you a number, but what I can tell you is your water how much water you need per day varies based on how much you weigh. So if you're a 100 kilogram person versus a 50 kilogram person, and you do the same thing in the same environment, obviously the heavier person will need more water because they've got to hydrate, more weight. If you're in a hot environment, obviously you need more. If you're in an air-conditioned environment versus non, you need more. If you're active, so it varies. So one of the mistakes that people make is that they think there's an arbitrary number of how much water, how many cups, how many litres.
8 glasses, wasn't that?
Yeah, so people, which is a ridiculous thing, it's like saying you need 3 litres of petrol per day for your car when you go, well, doesn't it depend on whether or not I'm driving a Honda Civic or I'm driving a V8 truck. Doesn't it matter whether or not I'm driving a lot or a little?
Yes.
And so too with your body. So even the same person. So I might, like it's a cold day in Melbourne today and I'm not doing much. I'm not expending lots of energy. So I might need 2 litres of water today, but tomorrow I fly to Darwin and I'm busy all day. I'm all over the joint. It's hot. I'm sweating all day. I might need 6 litres of water tomorrow, and I'm the same human being. So it's environmental, it's situational, it's physiological in that, you know, how much I move. And then there's another thing, which is how much water's in your food. Yeah. Like if you have a diet that's got a high water content, like lots of fruit, lots of veggies, like lots of it, you might not even need to drink water, depending on the water content in your diet.
Can I flip a question upside down? Is there an issue with drinking too much? And when I say too much, I mean like 2 litres a day, or you're drinking 3 litres a day, you're pissing like someone who's, you know, I don't know, you're pissing a lot. Isn't it pissing like a racehorse, but isn't it sweating like a racehorse?
Well, let's go pissing like
Mate,
a racehorse.
I had a big weekend, right? So just leave me alone.
This is Tommy operating at 0.7. That's him on 3 cylinders.
Can you drink too much?
You can. So what happens is, I'm just remembering this, so don't come crashing down on me if I get the word wrong. I think it's called hypernatremia, when you overhydrate, and I think it lowers your blood pressure to a point where it's dangerous. I'd have to check this. And again, not the medical guy, but the bottom line is, yes, you can overhydrate, but you need to drink a lot. You need to drink a lot, and you're not going to accidentally. Well, you know, most people will never accidentally overhydrate, and you know, like we said last week, if you're constantly weeing and you don't have diabetes or some other medical reason for that, then you're probably just drinking too much.
Yeah, or drinking too many coffees and then drinking water. Because I wee a lot when I have a lot of coffees.
Well, it's a diuretic. Caffeine's a diuretic, so it makes you wee. So it's you know, it's hard to get hydrated well when you have a lot of caffeine going into your system, because it creates a response to make you go wee.
Next one. Okay, Miranda Price.
Hi, Miranda.
Miranda says, do you have your own coach and or trainer to ensure you are achieving and performing at your full capacity? If so, how often do you seek their advice and support?
Do I have my own? I don't really, but I had people in my life over the years, and have had people and continue to have people in my life over the years who have been kind of sounding boards. I call, in my workshops, I don't know if you've heard this term, having unreasonable friends. Yeah. So I have a few unreasonable friends. So they're friends of mine, but they're also friends who will tell me exactly what they think about how I'm going, how I'm performing, what I'm doing.
When was the last time they were unreasonable with you? Or they told you something you didn't want to hear?
Well, just 10 minutes ago, we were upstairs here, and I asked your lovely partner, wife-to-be, in about 5 minutes, Amy, I said, can you proofread something for me? Yeah. And she read it, and she went, yeah, it's really good, except I don't think you need this sentence. Yeah. And I went, oh, well, and then I read it and I went, no, you're right. You're right. So I think it's good for us to have people in our world that give us feedback that's constructive, and if it happens to be what we want to hear or not, it doesn't matter, because if we trust them and value their opinion, they can give us a level of perspective and objectivity about us that we can't get because we are us. Having said that, I listen to, as you know, a lot of podcasts from people that, for me, they don't even know it, but they're mentors and teachers. So I listen to a lot of people via the internet and via that kind of resource podcast, and I even watch some shows where I get constantly fed stuff that stimulates my brain and constantly challenged, because sometimes I hear things I don't want to hear. Sometimes I hear things which are at odds with what I currently believe. Yeah. Sometimes I hear things that are a little over my head, and I've got to go back, replay, look it up, try to deconstruct it for myself so that I can get it, so that I can then explain that. The other day I was listening to a couple of guys talking. In fact, you know who is a fascinating human being that I love, is Russell Brand.
Yeah. So
And you and I both listened because I sent you a message, said, listen to this. It's
at
fucking-
7 a.m. Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
crazy. Anyway, he was talking about Russell Brand. If you don't know, I'm sure most of you know.
Here's a
who he
photo of him. You'll know exactly what he looks like. Rock star, not really rock star, movie star.
Movie star, and what people, a lot of people who don't know him, who just have had a glimpse of him, might think he's a dickhead, or might think he's, you know, he's an addict, he's a drug addict in recovery. He's a sex addict in recovery. He's a very manic human being, but he's highly intelligent, and I would say highly evolved. I was listening to him explain something, and I had to replay it. And essentially what he was saying is that, so in our culture, we think that if we can't see or feel or touch or measure or quantify something, it doesn't exist. That's almost science. But then there's a lot of stuff going on all the time that we just don't necessarily have the resources or the tools to be able to perceive what's going on. So for us, it doesn't exist. So an example of that is, you know, how dogs can hear at a different level or octave or pitch to us. Yeah. So if somebody blows a whistle, you and I don't hear it, but a dog will hear it, right? So is there a noise going on? Is there some kind of stimulation? Is there some kind of energy being produced? Yes, there is. Can you and I hear it or sense it? No, we can't, not consciously anyway. But then the dogs in the room or the dogs in the front yard are going crazy. So what he was saying is there's this constant flow of information and energy and stimuli coming into our world, but we can't hear it or perceive it all. So we don't, you know, and so too on an unconscious level with other energetic things. And who knows, maybe even spiritual things, who knows, that don't make sense. And so we go, oh, that's bullshit, you know, and we tell ourselves these stories about what we believe and why. And this is coming from a bloke who is a scientist or has a science degree and has worked in a scientific sense. I have to say that I don't know what there is. Like I don't know what I know. I know probably less than 1% of what there is to know. Probably less than 1%, 0.1%. But I think we get very arrogant. I know I've waffled, but we get very arrogant about how things are and how things aren't. And what we really do is we kind of figure out what's comfortable for us. And we don't want to hear anything that conflicts with our current paradigm. We don't want to hear anything that doesn't resonate for us because it makes us uncomfortable. Because when you believe something strongly, you've got a lot of emotion and psychological attachment to that. Yeah. And then when someone goes, but what if that's bullshit? Of course your reaction is to go, fuck you. Yeah. You know, fuck you. But the truth is, I'm constantly wrong about things. I could be wrong about this.
Most likely. No. Do you think it's...
Could be.
Do you think you can go and find, like you've got a mate, and say, hey, I'm giving you permission to be that person in my life?
Should. Yeah. I think you should. I think we should be less concerned with being right, less concerned with being comfortable, less concerned with having a fan club, and more concerned with growing and learning. That's my... Not everyone wants that, of course, but that's where I come from. You know, I know that at 52, I'm better than I was in terms of the stuff, you know, my understanding, my awareness, my skills, my communication, better than I was at 42 and way better than 32. Yeah. And so common sense and like a lot of kind of the thought bubble out there is that, well, at this age, you should be doing this or that. But I know that I'm actually getting better. You know, my knees are not.
Your hammies are still fucking... All right, last question. Rick Scott, best for last.
Ricky boy.
How do you pick up chicks in the gym? I want the best lines you got.
Rick.
Enjoy, lads, he says.
Well, get your pen and paper ready, Ricky boy. This will not be quick. Oh, fuck, as if I know. How do you pick up?
Just while you sort of think about that thought, when you own your gym, how many of your trainers were sleeping together?
Way too many.
Yeah, exactly.
Way too many. I used to say to my trainers, I can say this now because Harper's doesn't exist anymore, please don't fuck the clients. I know. Rule 1, please don't have sex with...
that rule.
Yeah. Try not to. Wear your uniform. Yeah. Don't bang the clients and try to be on time.
And if you do, think of me saying what I just said because you're in trouble.
So I can honestly say that I'm not saying I certainly didn't with clients, but back in the day when I just worked in the gym on the gym floor as an instructor and a gym manager and all those. I didn't actually have that level of confidence where...
Really?
Yeah. Where I'm not saying I would never try to engage someone or have a conversation, but never in my life have I asked a girl out.
Yeah.
As in gone, hi, da-da-da, do you want to...
Yeah.
Do you want to hang out? You know, I've never done that.
No, I'm much the same.
I've never asked a girl on a date. The only time I've ever gone down that track 105 years ago was when, back in the day, just after the wheel was invented, but it was when I would already know that they liked me or there was some connection, but I would never just... So I'm sorry to disappoint you, Rick, but I'm probably not the guy. But generally, my advice, when I see people trying to pick up, like, I reckon you're a much better chance not trying to pick up. Do you know what I mean? Like, just be you. Like, have conversations, be real, be authentic, be funny, or be whoever you are, just be that person. And if there's a connection, I know I sound like an old fart, but I don't.
Visualization, there's no, photo on the wall. No. Do you know a funny thing? This is all that shit knowledge I have in my head from doing radio that you accumulate. Katie Holmes had a photo of a poster of Tom Cruise up on her wall as a kid, and she was always like, I want to date him.
Wow.
I guess it went south for her, seeing as they're now broken up, but
and him.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's
weird.
I wonder, I mean, who knows? That would just seem to be a gigantic coincidence, but who knows? Maybe but what that would have done is kind of in some way hardwire her emotionally and mentally to create that level of expectation, and maybe that influenced, who knows?
Yeah. One tip, take it down before she comes over. After your first date, she comes back to her place.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, get rid of that.
All right, Rick. Sorry, mate, that's the real... Sorry to disappoint you there, Ricky.
Sorry, mate. Not that exciting, but honest.
Been a good app, some dating advice, or some kind of dating advice. A lovely old book from you.
Thank you very much. Staggering towards the finish line of life as a single man.
Yes.
It's all about to change in 5 days.
5 days.
5 days. How are you feeling?
Do you want to meet her?
Who?
No, as in, because no one's ever met her.
Oh, yeah, let's meet her.
She's upstairs with me today. Oh.
She's up in my office.
Amy!
Yeah, let's do this in real time. Ames!
We need you!
Amy!
She's on the phone.
She's on the phone. What? Yeah. Doesn't get much more organic than this, does it?
Hola. They want to meet you.
Hi, Ames.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, really good. So welcome to our audience.
Thank you.
Both of them.
She's not upstairs every week, just sitting up there while we're doing this.
What were you doing upstairs in my office?
Just putting the final touches on the wedding.
What still needs to be done?
Everything.
We need to plan the whole wedding. We need to get some cheese for a cheese table.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do. Has he been any help whatsoever?
He promises to be on the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show up, all right?
So that's a no. Have you done any planning yourself?
Well, I'm driving around. I found the DJ. I found the videographer.
Nice.
Which,
Yeah.
not half for me, but
Yeah.
no, fuck all.
You know how I'm doing security? Once everyone's in, can I come in or?
No, we've got you a window that you can look in.
Have I got one of those little tables over in the corner with the little seats?
Exactly right.
Me and the kids?
We didn't invite him, did we? We forgot. You didn't get
awkward.
Oh, shit.
That is awkward.
All right, we'll be back next week. I'm married by then.
Yeah.
Um,
Ames, nice to meet you.
yeah.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Enjoy your wedding.
Will do.
Happy wedding.
Thanks. I wish you could be there.
Shut up.
Cut.